Hey guys, what's going on? JH Vlogs here, back with another video. If you're new around here, hello and welcome. My name's Joe and I'm a third year student at the University of Reading, where I'm studying real estate. And today, I want to start a discussion on University Open Days. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, get cozy, pull up a chair, hit that subscribe button, and let's get chatting. Just before we start, my question of the day is, who would win in a fight, a gorilla or a grizzly bear? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and tune in to the end of my video next week when I'll discuss the answer. Or at least what I think the answer is. At the end of this video today, I'm going to reveal who would win in a fight, soup or scissors, so stay tuned if you want to find out the answer to that. Leaving any last minute comments before the big reveal. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, Uni Open Days. My first tip for when you arrive and when you're going around is to just relax a bit. I remember from my own time, I was quite uptight, particularly in the car getting there, about hitting everything on time and being there to my exact slot within the exact second, and worrying that if I wasn't, it'd be a mark against my name. That would possibly hurt my chances of getting into the university, or that when I was going around, people were like looking at me, judging me, taking notes, saying like, oh, do we think he's a good candidate or not? So I had to like behave and act in a certain way. Looking back at it now, that feels very, very silly. Like, it's a casual affair, it's a friendly affair. Trying to introduce you to the uni. They're almost trying to sell the uni to you. They're not judging the customer here, with you being the customer in this scenario. That was a classic instance of the spotlight effect, where everybody again focuses on themselves. In that instance, I was focusing on myself and putting too much emphasis. Like, people weren't caring, people were too busy thinking about other things to like notice exactly what you're doing. It's not going to be communicated, oh, he walked left foot then right foot instead of right foot then left foot. I don't even know if that's a thing, but my point is they're not judging you. You can relax a bit, and then once you can relax, you can begin to get into your thought process and take things in more easily and ask any questions you have, which I'll come to more about later. I know it's a lot easier said than done. The more relaxed you are, the more rational you should be able to think about questions that particularly will affect your uni experience. So that first tip covers the mindset you should bring with you, but once you're at the university, the first thing I can recommend is to take 5 minutes to plan your day out. Campuses are great big places, and there's so much going on with different events. There can be course-specific talks, halls talks, talks about the university and its history, talks about how student loans work. There are so many things that are out there. It's worth taking 5 to 10 minutes just to plan, okay, I want to be here at 11 and then there at 12:30, there at 2, and then give yourself time. This way you can make sure that you hit all the talks that you want to go to, whilst not missing anything off, not guilt tripping, and also not rushing yourself around that I have to go here, have to go here, have to go here. Oh, we missed this talk, there's another one at 4, that's fine. Or, oh, we need to make sure we go to this one, so we go to this one, and then that one. It helps you to structure your day, and if you're a bit more relaxed when you're going around and you know roughly where you're going to be, it'll just, make the whole experience a bit more pleasurable. It allows you to see everything that you wanted to see without having that fear of missing out, and allow you just to be more relaxed and take in the vibe. Which is the main thing about University Open Days. For all the Googling you can do, for all the looking online, it's all about that vibe. You're going to be there for, say, 3 years of your life minimum. Is that the vibe you want to be taking in? Is it a place you can see yourself living? Also, quick side note, when you're making these plans, do allow yourself plenty of time. Again, campuses are big places and they're confusing places, at least they are to me. And still deep into my third year, I was finding locations I hadn't been to before, and it took me extra time to find. So again, take the pressure off yourself, allow yourself plenty of time, so you find it with ease. It's better to be waiting around for 5 minutes than 5 minutes late and miss some crucial information. And then once you're a bit more relaxed yourself and you have an idea of roughly where you're going, you can begin to question whether you like the campus or not. Could you see yourself working there? Could you see yourself living in this area? You begin to question outwards instead of thinking you're being questioned inwards and be defensive. Open up and take it all on. One important thing to bear in mind is that generally working on a University Open Day, there are 2 sets of people. There are lecturers and there are university volunteers, so that'll just be uni students that have volunteered for the day. The volunteers are great for asking questions about day-to-day uni life. So where do you go for coffee? What do people do for fun? What's this like? What's that like? Where do I do my laundry? More questions that I'll come on to later. But unless they're doing your specific course, it's probably not the best idea to ask them about things like that, like what do you study, what do you this, what do you that? Because it'll be different from course to course, department to department, across the uni. So when you're asking your questions, remember to think about who you're asking them to, like would they have had any experience with it? Same for lecturers. Lecturers would be brilliant at asking, okay, is there any scope to cover this topic? But they're probably not so hot on what's the current drinking uni bar, for instance, or where you go to do your laundry. Those are more appropriate for the student volunteers. Oh, have you got any tips for how to do well on my course? When if they don't study your course, it probably won't give you the answer you're looking for. Save that sort of for the lecturer side, if you get what I'm saying here. As for some sort of questions that you could ask volunteers, I've definitely not written all these down. I'm now trying to memorize them so I can keep looking at the camera. It could be questions like, where do you live? What were the problems with that? Where do most students live? Where do you get a coffee on campus? anything that's particular to you. What are the music facilities like? What are the sports facilities like? How far is it to the nearest shop? Where do people shop on campus? How far is it to town? What's public transport like? How do you get around? What are the travel times? What are the things in town to go and see and do? And again, how far away is it? What's the library like? Are there any societies you could recommend joining? And ask them if there's anything they wish they'd have done differently at the time of uni, or if they had started earlier. Just questions like that. And if there are any more questions that after you've left and gone away and you think, oh, I wish I would have asked that, don't worry, there's always, again, admissions teams you can email. Again, I doubt any question they haven't heard before, so don't feel silly, like no question's a silly question. If it makes you feel comfortable, you can always ask and chase up after. It's just easier to do it, say, when you're there on the day, to save you checking your emails all the time. When you meet your lecturers, which is something I definitely advise doing, if you've gone to all the trouble to turn up at the open day, I'd definitely make the effort to go and see the course-specific lecture, to see if that's the sort of person, again, you want to study under for like a minimum of 3 years. It likely won't be one-on-one, you'll likely be part of a much bigger group, and again, this is the time when you can ask your specific questions about what can I study, is there a chance to do this, what is it to do well, what are the contact hours like, is it exam or coursework based? You may well ask these questions as part of this larger group and put your hand up, and it might be questions that other people want to know the answers to as well. But if you don't feel as confident putting your hand up again in a new room full of new people, you can always hang around at the end and speak to the lecturer one-on-one. It might also give you an indication of how passionate they are about the topic, which will in turn might indicate how much work they'll put into the course material, how interesting they'll make it, and how your studying experience will be over, again, a minimum of the next 3 years. That is, again, presuming they don't have to shoot off and be somewhere else in 5 minutes. But fingers crossed they won't. Hopefully they will have allowed some time for some questions at the end. On the point of confidence, I would also advise taking somebody with you if that's at all possible. Subconsciously, it can help to give you a little bit of extra confidence just having somebody else there. If you're waiting somewhere, it can be a bit awkward waiting on your own. If you've got somebody to talk to, the time could fly by and you could feel less awkward. Or they may be able to spot things that you're not thinking about on the day. There's a lot to take in. I mean, there's too much for my little brain to take in on one day anyway. So I was able to luckily take my dad with me, and he was able to spot some things and ask some questions. And again, that helped to shape my university choices. It challenged my way of thinking and the assumptions, and we could bounce ideas off of each other and just asking questions like that. And it was really quite helpful. I get that not everybody has somebody to go with them, but if it is possible, even if it's a mate, a brother, a sister, a mum, dad, anybody, just somebody who's been to university before, a friend of a friend, anybody you can take with you who will have your best interests and not just try and like go home as quick as possible, because again, if you've made all the effort to get to the university, which could have taken travelling several hours, you want to make the most of the time when you're there. So again, having that extra person can give you the confidence to go out and ask questions, or they could ask the questions themselves. I can just see some of our mates now taking the mick at me for saying ask, not ask, but we were old. It was something that definitely was able to benefit me again, and my dad was challenging my own thinking. He's like, Joe, do you actually like this? Joe, you normally like this, why aren't you liking it here? He was able to make me think deeper about what I was saying, and he probably also had the subconscious benefit about, say, I like to be early all the time and waiting outside instead of like we were waiting together, so it wasn't just me there. Gave that more confidence, again, safety in numbers and all that. Regarding the sort of things you should see on your open day, I recommend going to the course-specific lectures, again, to find out what you're studying, why that course, why at that uni, what makes it stand out, how passionate the lecturer is. You're going to spend a lot of hours studying it. You want to make sure that it's the right course for you. I'd recommend looking at that. I'd recommend looking at the halls. Again, it's where you're going to live for probably at least a year, so you want to make sure you're happy and comfortable there. If you're not 100% sure how student loans work, you probably want to go to some sort of student loan talk if you're thinking about applying for them. I'd also recommend go and see the library. Again, you could well spend hours a week in there, so it's worth making sure that it's a sort of space that you could see yourself working in. Might also be worth asking how many seats there are and if it clogs up around exam time. To any student volunteers that are working that day. Looking at any halls on campus, if that's the sort of thing you're considering living in first year, see where it might be worth paying a little bit more or saving a bit of money depending on the living arrangements. I'd also advise before you turn up, if you have a look on the university's website at their societies and scroll through, see if there's any that interests you, and then on the day, ask about it. So one that comes to mind for me is the Finance Society. I was on the committee of it, had about 120 members. I wish I'd have asked more questions about it during my open day. So asking student volunteers, are you part of it, or do you know anybody part of it? And then asking them, okay, so what does the Finance Society actually do? When do you meet? How often? What sort of events are put on? Try and find out about a specific society. Another one I was interested in was rugby, but again, it'll completely be up to you and your own personal needs. It's unlikely the first volunteer will know about that society, but if you keep asking throughout the day, you'll eventually find somebody, or you'll find somebody who'll have a mate who's in it, and you can then either ask them directly, or you can get them to ask their mate a question for you, and hopefully they'll respond in time. One thing I wouldn't recommend doing on a uni open day is taking notes as you're going around. There's a lot to take in. You could miss things. It's all about, again, being a sponge, being open, looking up, taking it in, seeing the vibe. Where I would recommend taking notes is on the journey home. Again, providing you're not driving or cycling or in charge of any sort of vehicle. If that's the case, then make the notes as soon as you get home. But first of all, it'll allow you to see the points that resonate with you the most. If you've been able to hang on to them for the full day, you can see what stands out the most to you. Having a set of notes that you've made as soon as you've left the place can help you see exactly what your feelings are, what your thoughts are. That can help you to remember as much as possible, whilst also, again, taking everything in on your road round. And you'll probably be adding to those notes for the next couple of days where things come back to you like, oh yeah, oh okay. Most people tend to congregate at Park Bar for socials, even if they're not drinking, just because it's the social hub. Getting it all down on paper so that you can compare different unis and they don't all blend into one. But again, not as you're going around, because you might miss things if you've got your head down on your phone or a head down in a pad of paper. Keep your head up, and then as soon as you leave, get all the thoughts down you can remember. You'll see what will resonate with you most on the day, and you probably keep adding to it over the next few days, getting all your thoughts down so you can later compare. Okay, this is Reading, this is Newcastle, this is KCL, this is UCL, whichever universities you're looking at. It stops them all muddling into one. As for why bother going to an open day in the first place, and if you are still questioning that and you're this far into the video, congratulations for making it this far. I don't blame you for questioning everything. It's about picking up the vibe. There's a certain place about the campus, a certain swagger, a certain feel that you just can't get by Googling or looking at other people's videos or anything like that online. You just have to be there. Again, Reading's the perfect example for me. I turned up wanting to dislike it and I fell in love. It's just the vibe, the greenness of the campus, the enthusiasm of our lecturers, the living accommodation. It just all seemed amazing for me. It just all seemed tailored and perfectly suited to me, and that's something I couldn't pick up online. It's something I've been very happy at, and I'm glad it was just that vibe, that connection. I don't know how to describe it, it's just that thing. And I was only able to get that from going to the open day. And I'm hoping you can too, and it can help you to pick the uni that is most suited to you. Sort of links to the concluding point from my last video about work experience and internships and getting a job long term. Like, you can say that, oh, I want to do this job, but unless you've actually had any experience with it, do you know that you want to do it? You can say, oh, I want to go to Oxford, but maybe when you get to Oxford, it's not all that you thought it was. Maybe it's not for you. Again, nothing against Oxford, I'm just using it as the example here as one of the UK's best unis. It's just the vibe, the feel, and what you get on the day. If you have any questions or if I've left anything unclear, please do drop a comment down in the section below, and I'll try and answer that for you and try and clear some things up. Moving on to the much important answer for the debate: who would win in a fight, soup or scissors? And drum roll please, because I haven't learned the editing skills of how to do a drum. It's soup. Why? Well, there was a slight spoiler in the comments, somebody had figured it out. Scissors can't cut through soup. At the end of the day, it is soup. Like, if you cut it, it is still soup. That is the point of the soup. The scissors can't actually do anything to the soup. Whereas you presume if the scissors and the soup were in contact with each other for a long period of time, the soup would begin to corrode the scissors and wear them down slowly. So yes, it's a long process, but this round goes to soup. And if you disagree with me, let me know your rationale and thoughts down in the comments below, and maybe I'll revoke it. But I'm pretty confident, I'm pretty sure that soup is the winner of this round. Let me know down in the comments below who you think would win a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla, and I'll get that answer for you at the end of my next video. Other than that, if you could please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, and in return, I'll continue to bring you real estate and university-based content. Thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day.